Have you ever found yourself just staring at a JavaScript error thinking, how did one little typo bring my entire app crashing down? Yeah, we've all been there. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into a really powerful solution, pulling insights from the book TypeScript Crash Course to see how we can start building safer, much more reliable web apps right from the get-go.
Oh, this error? If you've written any JavaScript, I bet you've seen this one. It's that awful, sinking feeling, right? Your app is working perfectly, and then boom, it's not. All because some piece of data wasn't exactly what you thought it was. It's a classic, and honestly, it's one of the most frustrating parts of developing with JavaScript.
And as your projects get bigger, this chaos, it just multiplies. What was maybe a small little annoyance in a tiny script? Well, it becomes a massive source of instability in a huge application with tons of developers. You're basically left guessing what kind of data is flowing through your own functions. And that leads to bugs that only show up when a real user is clicking around your site. Not good.
But what if there was a way to stop these errors before they even had a chance to happen? Well, guess what? There is, and it's time to introduce the hero of our story.
Meet TypeScript. The absolute best way to think about it is like JavaScript, but with a protective layer of armor. It's called a superset, which is just a fancy way of saying any valid JavaScript code is already valid TypeScript. And that's brilliant, because it makes getting started with it so easy. You don't have to just throw away all your existing code. You can just start making it better, one piece at a time.
So, the main difference? It's actually surprisingly simple. Look on the left, we've got our standard JavaScript. Let age equal 25. Easy enough. But now look on the right. In TypeScript, we've added that little colon number. That's it. That's a type annotation. We're explicitly telling TypeScript, hey, listen up. This age variable, it should always be a number. It's a tiny change, but it has absolutely massive implications.
So, how does that one little annotation give TypeScript all its superpowers? Well, it all comes down to the power of defining and then enforcing types.
Okay, one of the most powerful tools in TypeScript's entire arsenal is the interface. An interface is basically a blueprint for your data. You can think of it like a contract that says, hey, any object that wants to be this thing absolutely must have these specific properties with these specific types.
So for example, right here, we've created a blueprint for a person object. And according to this contract, any object we want to call a person has to have a name that's a string and an age that's a number. No exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts. This creates predictability and order where there used to be, well, chaos.
All right, let's actually see this thing in action. This is the moment, the big reveal, where TypeScript really shows you what it's made of by catching those awful errors before your code ever gets near a user.
Take a look at this plain JavaScript code. We have a greet function, and it expects an object with a name property. But whoops, we've accidentally passed it an object with username instead. Now, JavaScript, it has no idea anything is wrong. It will just run this code, person.name will be undefined, and your application is going to crash. This is exactly the kind of bug that could easily slip right into production.
Okay, now, let's see the TypeScript version. We use our person interface, that blueprint we made, to tell the greet function it must receive an argument that matches that shape. The second we try to pass an object with username instead of name, bam! TypeScript yells at us. You see a big red underline right there in your code editor instantly. The bug is caught and fixed before you even hit save.
And that's the magic right there. This quote just nails the core idea from the book. TypeScript's type system enables compile-time type checking, catching errors before they become runtime problems. So the key here is compile time. That's when you're writing the code, versus runtime, when your users are using the app. You're literally shifting bug finding from your users back to you, the developer, which is exactly where it should be.
And because this ability to catch errors early is just so unbelievably valuable, TypeScript hasn't stayed some small niche tool. Oh no, it has had a massive impact on the entire web development world.
I mean, look at this list. Microsoft created it, Google uses it all over the place, and pretty much all the major front-end frameworks, we're talking Angular, React, and Vue, have completely embraced it. This kind of widespread adoption means it's a stable, super well-supported, and really valuable skill to have in today's job market.
Okay, this is a really good question. You might be thinking, if TypeScript needs to know the shape of everything, how on earth does it work with the massive world of JavaScript libraries that were written without any types? Does that mean you just can't use them?
Nope, not at all. And the reason is this incredible community project called Definitely Typed. It is a gigantic open-source collection of type definition files. What that means is thousands of developers all around the world have already created the blueprints for all your favorite JavaScript libraries and then shared them for everyone to use.
So the takeaway here is just amazing. You can just install the types for a library you love, like Express or Lodash, and all of a sudden your code editor understands them perfectly. You get that intelligent auto-completion, that same powerful error checking, even though the library itself wasn't written in TypeScript. It's really the best of both worlds.
You see, by catching errors early, making your code way easier to read, and just supercharging your development tools, TypeScript really changes how you write JavaScript for the better. So I guess the real question it leaves us with is, are you ready to start building applications that aren't just working, but are demonstrably safer and more reliable?
If this got you excited and you want to dive a lot deeper, all the insights from this explainer were inspired by TypeScript Crash Course. It is a fantastic, hands-on guide that'll get you up and running in no time. Thanks for watching.